Hey guys, and welcome back to the War Thunder 1.49 dev server. There's been plenty of new tanks added to the game, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at all the new American tanks that have been added. So I think it's safe to say that this patch for the Americans has definitely been the addition of a tank destroyer lineup. In fact, these are all the vehicles that they have gotten here, and they've also gotten some premium vehicles like the T28 and also the M5A1. So the first vehicle is a light tank M282, a tank that has only machine guns on it and no cannon. So you might be thinking this tank probably gets no kills. Well, you are half right. Because from far away distance, it really has no penetration. But from a closer distance, it does. But if you're shooting from the front, you probably won't kill anything unless you're shooting at some critical points like the viewport. Then you might snipe the driver. But otherwise, if you're going to get kills with this tank, you really have to try to go on the side armor and focus down reserve tanks, because it's going to be really damn hard to kill anything that has any amount of decent armor on it, on the vehicle, because there really just is hardly any penetration on these machine guns. Otherwise, if you do manage to get on the side of an enemy, then keep on pounding away at them, because you have 1,400 bullets to the 12.7, meaning you can just keep on firing and firing and firing and firing. And if you're versing a reserve vehicle, for example, then you'll be able to make quick work of them if you're shooting them into their side. Otherwise, anything that has any decent armor, good luck. Honestly, good luck. It has 4 crew members within it, and that armor penetration that I was talking about, if you get some upgraded belts here, you can be seeing around 28 millimeters of armor penetration from 10 meters all the way up to about 27 from 100 meters. And next up is a 75mm gun motor carriage M3, which is pretty much a gun smacked onto a half track. So it is really a glass cannon. That gun is powerful, very powerful. Let's take a look at what it can do. When you get the APCBC, you can do 90 millimeters of penetration at 10 meters distance on this tank. So at 2.3, that is really damn decent. That means you can pretty much penetrate anything you're shooting at 2.3 and around that range. The only unfortunate thing is the fact that, well, you are a glass cannon. Your guys are exposed. They will probably die easy. But maybe one nice thing is the fact that if people shoot you and they're not being particularly careful where they're shooting you, they might actually just shoot through the armor and then it'll just pass on through, because it won't explode within the tank. There's nothing that's confining it to being within there. It might actually just go right on through. It might only kill one crew member, and that's it. And then comes the 3-inch gun motor carriage M10, a definite fearsome tank that will be appearing in the game at battle rating 3.3 rank 2, because its gun armament is absolutely insane. APCBC doing 127 millimeters of armor penetration at 10 meters, and if you decide to go for the even more penetrating rounds, because I don't know why you'd want to, then you get 158 millimeters of penetration. So if there's some take-home message to take here, it's the fact that these tanks are glass cannons. So the turret armor has actually more armor than the hull itself. If you're going to be using this tank, you really have to make sure that you're pointing it to the front and that you're in a hull down position. Otherwise, pretty fearsome tank. And then at 4.7 is the M18 Hellcat, which is an absolutely awesome tank in terms of its gun armament, but its armor is non-existent. Look at this. The red portion is only showing about 20 millimeters of armor around that range. There's nothing in terms of armor capabilities on this tank. I'm pretty sure you could punch it and your fist would go through. But modifications wise, its gun armament is pretty much exactly the same as the M10, with its 127 millimeters of penetration on the APCBC, the most important rounds. But if you really want to go for extra armor penetration, I don't know why you'd want to go this high. You can load out these APCR rounds with 240 millimeters of armor penetration. But consider this, you're at 4.7, so the highest things you'll be seeing is at 5.7, which is the likes of a Tiger. Your APCBC will be doing enough penetration to kill a Tiger. So moving up the tiers, but unfortunately not really moving up the armor protection values, is the M36. It does have slightly better armor than the M18, but still at 5.7, everything's going to be able to penetrate you pretty much no matter where they shoot you, unless maybe this iron plate over here, the red portion. Otherwise, in terms of its gun armaments, It has, let's take a look at the APCBC because that's the best ones. 165 millimeters of penetration at 10 meters away, and still pretty much relevant at 100 and even 500 meters as well. You're going to be doing really quick work of enemy vehicles. 5.7, wow. That's actually really good. That means you can take on Tigers with ease, and when you come against enemy Tiger 2s and the like, because within your battle rating of plus or minus 1.0, I think you should stand up quite well against them. In fact, you should. 160 millimeters of penetration on that gun is sufficient enough. And so moving up the tiers, and holy Jesus, I thought we weren't going up armor values at all. Well, it looks like we actually are. This is the T95 with huge amounts of armor on the front. The side is, and the rear is pretty much non-existent in terms of armor. Anything at 6.7 will be able to penetrate from the side and the rear. But from the front, look how thick this is. You're gonna have no chance. Pretty much no matter what tank you're using. 300 millimeters of armor thickness right there. And the bottom plate, near enough the exact same as well. Your only chance is probably to hit the cupolas directly on and hope that it sprays down into the tank itself. Otherwise, you have to flank this. You just have to. I don't think you really have much of a choice. And the nice thing about flanking this vehicle is the fact that it has ammo storages everywhere within the middle. So once you do flank it, you just shoot somewhere here, and you're likely to probably blow it up in one single shot. But otherwise, this tank, in terms of its armaments, is probably going to over-penetrate with its gun. Look at the amount of armor penetration it has. 258 on the default rounds, all the way up to 325 over here. So that is really overkill in terms of armor penetration. Unfortunately, it doesn't have APCBC that you can unlock, which would really make this a lethal tank to take on. But it'd still be interesting to see, to have a tank with such penetrating rounds, how much damage it would actually do to enemy vehicles. And then we have the M5A1 Stuart, a 2.3 battle rating tank, rank 2, probably dead before it's even gotten out of the garage because, unfortunately, I think it's kind of over tiered. 2.3 with a 37mm cannon. Let's take a look at how much armor penetration it does. It's 91. That's not bad. I mean, it can actually penetrate and kill stuff, but it's the fact that it only has armor piercing rounds. You know, those don't have explosive components within them, so they're not going to do a lot of damage in terms of splash damage, which is really important. You want to knock out critical components within the tank and also members as well. But otherwise, with these armor-piercing rounds, chances are you're probably going to be killing one member at a time. But it is a fast tank, so chances are what you have to do with it is flank the enemy. But still, 2.3 battle rating. Ugh, I shudder at the thought. And the premium M18, no armor whatsoever. That shouldn't even be red armor. I mean, come on, you can't call 40 or 30 millimeters, or even 20 millimeters of armor thickness armor at all. But it is what it is. What it makes up for its lack of armor is its gun, though. 127 millimeters of penetration on the gun at battle rating 4.7, so you can actually contend with Tigers and anything at your tier. And then the premium T28, a lot like the T95, but not as cool looking, kind of like a miniature version of Mini-Me. But the same premises exactly as the T95, tons of armor on the front, have to flank it, shoot it in its side, where it has its ammo storages on the side. You'll make quick work of it by shooting it in its side. But so there we have it, guys. That is it for the tanks that have been added in 1.49 for the Americans. They have gotten a lot of love this patch. What are you most looking forward to? Until the next video, this is Krebs, and I will catch you guys next time.